Welcome everyone to the Men of Real Estate. This is your host, Marie Antonette Waite, and we are live on KCAA Network. We are on 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and we are also on your favorite podcast. We are available on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Tiki Live, you name it, we are in there. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. So we are very excited to have our show today. And I have an amazing guest for you. He is a lawyer and he is running two companies. His name is Attorney Charles James, and he is the principal owner of Charles James Law. And at the same time, he is also running the Austin Contracting and Associates as a developer. He founded this company in 2004. And so I'm very excited to bring him into our show here at the Men of Real Estate. So let's do that. Hi, hello, Charles. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Maria. So excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you've got such an accomplishment, Charles. I mean, being a lawyer and a developer. How many years have you been a lawyer?
Been a lawyer now for almost not a year completely yet. Yeah, so my background is stronger in the development area, but I just became a lawyer.
Oh, really? Okay. And so in regards to the being a developer, when did you exactly start and how did that go about?
Well, before we move on, I got to make a little disclosure. This podcast or this is strictly advertisement, and this is not intended to create an attorney-client relationship in any way, shape, or fashion. If we were going to create an attorney-client relationship, we have an intake process where we'd invite you in to do that. And we would either expressly or impliedly create that relationship. But this podcast does not do that in any way, shape, or form. This is just for advertisement. So now we can move on.
Oh, I love that. That's what you do when you're a lawyer, right?
You have to do that.
We need to make sure that we comply with everything. Okay, so tell me, how did it start for you?
Well, construction started for me a long time ago. When I was really young, I worked for one of the premier home builders, and they allowed me to sweep out homes and clean them up and move things around. And then, went to college. And after college, just after, bumping around and doing different jobs, decided that I really wanted to be in the construction industry. I love it. I've, always loved it, like seeing things being built. And so I decided that I wanted to become a contractor. 2004, I started Austin Contracting and Associates, Inc. Started out as a very small company and then grew into doing larger projects, millions of dollar projects, and decided that's where I wanted to be. The legal background came in by having to understand the law as a contractor. People think that being a contractor is about just hammers and nails, but being a contractor today is about law. Okay. So that's why I moved into the law as well.
Well, starting a construction company, I don't think it's that easy. Can you share with us how you go about it and how it became successful for you?
Starting a construction company is not an easy thing to do because, like you said, it's challenging. You first have to determine how you're going to be capitalized and what type of projects you're going to take on. And are you going to be a commercial contractor? Are you going to be a residential contractor? Are you going to be a developer? What are you going to do? The basis of that is, what kind of construction work do you like to perform? Residential work is more personal because of the fact you deal with clients up close. The commercial construction work it's more professional because you're building a property for a business rather than a person. Those are the kind of considerations that you have to think about when you're thinking of starting a construction company, along with your background, because there's a lot of different things that, come into play with administrative work, that come into play with subcontractors and understand their specific work, and then the clients. So you need to think about how that mix is going to work for you as a contractor.
Okay, so if and you made a decision to go with commercial, right?
I did.
Okay, so doing the commercial, what are the major steps that you have to take in order to get that going?
First, you have to start out with looking for your client base, and you're going to have to find clients and determine which people are going to be your clients and what kind of stuff you like to build. You like to build multifamily? Do you like to build commercial buildings? What do you like to build? That's what's going to determine how you're going to get going. Now, if you like to build multifamily, like apartment buildings and things of that nature, you need to find clients that are building those type of projects. You find those clients, engage them, and determine if you can win the project. The construction industry is very competitive. And so when you get into the construction industry, you got to see how and where you want to compete. And in that marketplace, the apartment complex building space is very competitive. So if you're going to be in there, you just have to know that going in.
Okay, and what kind of experience is it required for you to be able to get your first client through the commercial business?
You know, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to let people see you and let them understand that you know how to build their project. And I had a rule and a goal when I first started my business. I would never take on a project that I did not understand. And what's going to happen is that client is going to lay plans and you know, blueprints and things of that nature out in front of you. And they're going to have an understanding if you know what you're doing right away, because when you bid those projects, you're telling them this is the price that we can build this property for. And you're lined up against a bunch of other contractors that are saying this is what we can build it for. If your price comes out $1 million ahead or $1 million below, some people would think, well, if my price is below, I should get it. Well, you'll never be able to complete the project. So you won't win that project if you're high or if you're low. You have to come in right in that median spot where the client knows that you can actually complete this project. And so basically, the clients are going to choose you based upon know-how. The clients are going to choose you based upon a level of comfort. The clients are going to choose you based upon your financial responsibility to complete that project. And then that's primarily the strength of how you're going to get chosen in that marketplace.
Okay, so definitely there's some vetting process going that needs to happen before you can land the client, because they want to make sure that you have all these qualifications in order for them to give you the project.
Right. Well, it's like if you look at my qualifications, you look at my background, I'm an attorney, and I've been building for over 20 years. And I've owned millions of dollars worth of properties of my own. And so a client can sit down and talk to me and have a good conversation and have a good feeling that I understand how to build. I also hold a concrete license, which means I can go in and do the foundation for any project. So when we start, we don't have to wait for a subcontractor to come in. We can do our own foundational work, and then we can build the entire project ourselves.
Okay, so for someone who is just starting out, is it better for them to be mentored first by someone like you in order to get into the commercial projects? Or do they need to have certain, you know, hands-on experience in order to do it?
You know, the construction business is not different than any other business. The thing is that if you're coming in and you're brand new, my thought to that person is don't start in the commercial business. You're not ready for that.
Okay.
But then you start in the residential business and you learn to build smaller projects, because the complexity of the commercial projects is so vast that if you just came in off the street, your chances of being able to win a bid, your chances of being able to complete a project are very low. They're very low because you don't have the understanding of what it's going to take to complete that project. So even myself, I started in the residential market and learned to build residential homes. And once I learned to build residential homes, that's when I moved into the commercial marketplace and started to understand how to go about operating in that marketplace. You know, the paperwork and the idea of working with the client, the subcontractors, the authorities having jurisdiction, and all of these things that you have to work with, they're very challenging for a builder that is not experienced.
Okay. Well, you know, so you mentioned that during the bidding process, you know, there's certain way to win that client. How do you set yourself into where you can be successful in getting that bid?
Oh, that's a trade secret, Maria. You're trying to get trade secrets?
No, I'm just trying to understand how.
Oh my goodness.
How you specialize in these things, because there's so many people doing the same thing, and I'm trying to figure out how do you identify people like you that, you know, if they're looking at your bid among other construction companies, how do you know who's the best?
Well, if you really look at it, you look at people, there's a lot of people out here that have been out here like me for a long period of time. And so you ask what sets you apart. It's like the secret ingredient to code
Okay.
of the product. It's like we all have secret ingredients. We all have things that we bring to the table that the next person doesn't bring. And people always ask that, and I tell them, never give up that. That's what gets me to the table, and that's what gets me over. If you want that secret, I tell you what, you build hundreds of buildings, and you stay up sleepless nights, and you can have it. But you can't.
Okay.
Sorry.
I like that. All right. Well, I am so glad to learn a little bit about you because, you know, I've known you as a lawyer, but I didn't really know your experience on the commercial and construction industry. So it's very interesting that, you know, some people can, you know, get into this industry but and become very successful because I've seen so many people have, you know, try to do projects and it just a challenge and a struggle for them to get the funding, to get all the resources they need in order to get through the process. And I even had a client that I tried to get funding and it's just, oh my gosh, it's a nightmare because we couldn't get through.
Well, you know, one of the things is this business is different than any business in the world. And if you look at everything, like the place you're sitting right now, if you look down, somebody built the floor. If you look at the walls, somebody built the walls, somebody built the roof. Every place we go is a built structure.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it, you have to understand that you have to have an understanding of what it is that it took to put that entire shelter together, and what it takes to get that financing. And people want to hear certain buzzwords when you come to get financing from them. They want to know and understand that you understand how to take that project from its inception all the way to the closeout. And there's so many little things that could be missed. And that person who is determining whether or not to give you that money or not to build that project, once they talk to you, they're going to know whether you're going to be able to do that. And if they don't feel a level of confidence that you understand the industry that you're getting into, this is not getting a loan for a car. This is not getting a loan for anything other than, you know, building this property. And as you stated, we've seen a lot of people try to build properties and they fail.
Yes.
When the bank puts out their money, they don't want to put it out to someone that's going to be on the lower percentage of the side of failure. They want to put it out to somebody that they know can be successful. So when you look at our business, you look at Austin Contracting, it's been around for 20 years plus. They know and they look at it, and you tell the projects that you've completed, they know, okay, this guy can complete the project. All he needs is money. If we give him money,
so let's do this, Charles. I'm going to take a commercial break and we're going to be right back. And okay, for everyone out there, this is your host, Marie Antonette Waite, and I am with attorney Charles James. So we're going to take a break and don't go in. We will be right back.